Hey everyone, welcome to our special Valentine's themed episode. Happy Valentines to all you lovebirds out there. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with me this week. I know you may have plans, so it means a lot. Today we're going to discuss the unsolved murders of Jesse McBane and Patricia Mann. This young couple went to a Valentine's dance and unfortunately never returned home. So let's discuss this sad, unfortunate crime. Sit back, relax, and let's dive in. Jesse McBane and Patricia Mann were described as lovebirds with a promising future. Jesse, aged 19, was popular, athletic, intelligent, and a freshman at North Carolina State University. He had been voted most likely to succeed in high school. His fiancée and high school sweetheart, Patricia Mann, aged 20, was a responsible young woman studying to be a nurse. There was a Valentine's dance occurring at Watts Hospital where Patricia went to school, and Jesse wanted to take her. Jesse was not supposed to have the car this evening, though. He and his brothers shared it, but Jesse really wanted to go, so he made a deal in order to procure the car for the evening's festivities. So on this rainy night, he set out from his parents' house in northern Chatham County to Durham to Patricia's dormitory. The pair went to the dance and left around 11:30 p.m. They walked back to her dorm so she could sign out for the night. Patricia's dormitory had a curfew, which was extended to 1 a.m. to accommodate the dance. The couple then took Jesse's car and drove to a cul-de-sac on Wayside Place in the area, due to it being the unofficial lover's lane, especially for nursing students. However, Patricia's 1 a.m. curfew came and went, but the couple had not returned. The next morning, Patricia's roommates and friends began to grow concerned. Patricia was very by the book. She took her studies seriously and she would never break the rules. And Jesse was considered a good guy who would never push Patricia to do anything against her moral code. The friends began to search for the couple by calling hospitals and even filing a missing persons report with the police department. After this, they chose to go and search Patricia's common hangout spots, including the Lover's Lane. It was here in the cul-de-sac they found Jesse's car parked and abandoned. The couple's coats were in the back and nothing was disheveled about the car. The doors were locked and police would later find it was wiped clean of any fingerprints. By this time, the families were aware their children were missing. They escalated the issue and made the police department really act on the initial missing persons report. At first, investigators thought the pair may have eloped and skipped town. This, however, would be the best case scenario. But it wasn't long before investigators just knew something wasn't right about the case. For nearly 2 weeks, police and search parties made of the locals worked the area. Every lead was followed, but unfortunately, they always hit a dead end. 12 days after the couple went missing, a surveyor working in a heavily wooded area along a one-lane dirt road saw what he thought were mannequins. Specifically, he saw a leg sticking out of a pile of leaves. But, upon closer inspection, he realized they were human remains. Police were called immediately and the scene was worked. By the end of it, Jesse McBane and Patricia Mann were officially found and declared deceased. They were found several miles away from the car. Police soon speculated the couple had been abducted from the Lover's Lane and taken to this secluded area and tortured to death. The couple were tied to a tree, backs to the bark, and their hands tied backwards with thick rope. Rope was also around their heads and necks. Though they had been secured to the tree, their bodies had slumped forward and down, leaving the couple side by side and partially covered by leaves. Jesse was still wearing his class ring and watch, so police ruled robbery out as a motive. Medical examiners also found no signs of sexual assault. Patricia had internal injuries from being punched, kicked, or stomped. There were multiple strangulation marks around their necks, suggesting the victims had been strangled, then let down, and strangled and let down, over and over for a period of time. It was to the point where their shoes still had mud on them, and there were little troughs where their feet had been thrashing around. The couple was also stabbed several times. Investigators believe this crime was planned to some degree, and there was a strong possibility of the suspect knowing the victims, but to what degree is undetermined. The suspect also had to know the area due to where the couple was found. This secluded area they were found in was considered another lover's lane. It was a pushed-in road with a cul-de-sac at the end, located right on the county line between Orange and Durham. The couple was found a quarter mile into the woods. Extensive investigations spanned across multiple agencies, including the Orange County Sheriff's Department, Durham Police Department, the SBI, and the FBI. The lack of collaboration between the parties was apparent, as each agency worked the case individually and chose not to share much with the others. Many felt this work decision provided many missed opportunities to solve this crime. Despite this, many people were considered as suspects, with the most promising being a doctor from Watts Hospital, who worked with Patricia. He repeatedly refused to cooperate with law enforcement. No other suspect was really zeroed in on, and the case went cold. Then, in 2011, Tim Horn, who works for the Orange County Sheriff's Department, discovered a discarded box of evidence. With the help of Carolyn Spivey, Patricia's cousin, the case was reopened. Horn began uncovering every bit of evidence, rechecking suspects, looking for new ones, and trying to piece together where the past agencies had failed. He even pulled the original investigators in to re-examine the evidence, including all compiled evidence from the other agencies. The only suspect still alive from the original investigation was the doctor, who was now in his 80s. He was the focus in 1971 and remains the focus today. Horn believes he is the most viable suspect, as the others on the list just didn't make sense or add up. The doctor has been called in and interviewed a few times. The last interview, Horn asked him for a DNA sample, and he declined and called his lawyer. Horn believes he can close this case with DNA samples. He suspects the perpetrator's DNA can be extracted from the knots in the rope used to bind the couple with a new forensic technique. The development he is referring to is the MVAC wet vacuum DNA collection system. It's described as a handheld vacuum that extracts DNA from difficult places. There are only 40 of these machines nationwide. In 2018, the MVAC was unable to gather enough DNA from the ropes. Horn believes waiting on technological advancements and help from the public will close this case. No one has ever been arrested or charged with the murders of Jesse McBane or Patricia Mann. The case is still an active and ongoing investigation. If you or anyone you may know have information regarding this unsolved murder, please contact the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And that concludes this week's episode. Make sure you guys stay safe and hold those dears to you close. Avoid traveling to lovers' lanes. Wait, is that even a thing anymore? I think the current dating scene is beyond it. It's probably an archaic principle at this point. But lovers' lane or not, do stay safe this Valentine's. Leave your thoughts in the comments section and let me know what you thought about this. I always find it refreshing when I see police departments actively trying to solve cold cases. As always, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy my macabre subject matter. It lets YouTube know it's interesting. And lastly, all I want for Valentine's is for you to be my new subscriber. And if you're already subscribed, have this Valentine's from me. Thank you for always being so kind. I sound like a broken record, but I'm eternally grateful for this community we're building. I don't know, maybe it's time I come up with something to call what we got going on here. What do you guys think? Anyways, happy Valentine's, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.